This
So
conference will
we'll
now be recorded.
we'll unmute ourselves when we are about to speak. So yeah, thank you. The admin has muted everybody else. So my name is Aslam. I am a operations manager in Genpact. So today's session is about soft skills. So we are going to discuss about various other qualities required for us to either join a MNC, or if we are working already, so what are the other skills apart from our domain skills required for us to grow in our career? All right. So firstly, basic question: hard skills, soft skills. Hard skills are your domain specific skills. I'm sure everybody over here has come in from different backgrounds as well. So people are from accounting background, from engineering, software, or various other courses you have been part of. So obviously, those are the core skills required for any job you're doing. But apart from that, you require other life skills, other softer skills. So, for example, your domain skills are judged by the IQ test. Especially, everybody I'm sure has gone through the steps. For example, you are joining into any organization, they take your IQ test, they take your psychometric evaluation, your domain skill test. But apart from that, say initially they take your just a minute round, your uh, group discussion, and they ask you to make a presentation. This is for freshers. And when you have joined in and worked in couple of years, for your promotion, they do some other tests as well to assess if you are ready for the next level. So they are looking at your leadership skills, your team management skills, your customer handling skills, and also your task management skills. Are you able to deliver, and how do you manage those skills? So these are the things which come under your soft skills. So it is really important that everybody works on developing your skills. There are a few important aspects to it. One of the major aspect of so everybody understands basic concept, soft skills and hard skills. People can type in the chat.
Aslam bhai, do you also have a presentation? Would you like to share that?
Yes. So, Shabbi, what I'm going to do is basically I want to navigate using Wikipedia and basic stuff so that people can afterwards go and search easily. I have a presentation as well, which I'll be taking from the net. So I'll be sharing that screen as well.
Okay, okay,
So,
fine.
so initially, what I'm doing is I want to take to you to Wikipedia, because firstly, everybody gets an conceptual understanding of what soft skills are. Everybody is able to see my screen, right? So it's basically a combination of your social skills, people skills, communication skills, and your personality. So everybody can go later on as well, go through for my basic research. Whenever I'm trying to get a conceptual understanding of anything, I firstly go to Wikipedia and get the understanding, what is it we are talking about. So firstly, people get this question. So you have this para about hard skills and soft skills. So get an understanding of what comes under hard skills and what comes under soft skills. And basically, as we are all professionals, so what is it, every other organization or our employers are looking for from us in terms of our soft skills. So firstly, number one item which comes is our communication skills. Communication skills, ask everyone, and everybody wants to have better communication skills, be it oral or written. So your ability to speak or write. So I'm sure everybody has that basic understanding that four aspects to communication: your listening and your reading, which I consider your input. So, any communication, your firstly, the most important skill is considered your listener skill. So, your ability to listen, not only hear, but listen, and then to read. And then these I consider as the input skills. And then they are the output skills. So, your ability to write and your ability to speak. So, everybody asks for, how do I improve my communication skills? So to improve your communication skills, uh, we need to have the ability to develop our input skills, meaning to be able to speak and to write, I have to have the ability to listen and to read. So, and it comes in after a lot of practice. So how many people over here have, come in to basically develop the communication skills? So, does everybody feel that communication skills are important? Uh, do we have the chat facility over here? Should be. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see. All right.
Yes, yes. We have a chat facility also, Islam bhai.
Yeah, I can say. Yeah, thank you. So, I'll be jumping in and answering the questions as well. So, can you repeat about soft skills? So, soft skills is a combination of a lot of aspects. Uh, so, as I went into the Wikipedia page, it's a combination of your people skills, social skills, communication skills, character and personality traits. So, for example, your domain skills are your IQ, your intelligence quotient. Your soft skills are your emotional intelligence quotient. It's your, understanding about yourself, your emotions, what makes you, motivated, and also what other things motivates others. So, I'll, in EQ, what we call it in soft skills, it is basically, your emotional quotient. So it is about, your self-awareness, your regulation, your social skill, your empathy, and your motivation. It involves. So I have the GPT over here. Say for example, so soft skills. It helps you find a suitable job, maintain and promote yourself. So how hope this helps in the question, to going through you know about the soft skills. Soft skills involves basically 10 sub skills over here. So the top 10 list of soft skills employers are looking for are your communication skills, your basic courtesy, your flexibility, your integrity, your interpersonal skills, your positive skills, your professionalism, responsibility, teamwork, and work ethic. So what we'll do is we will try and go one by one and how to improve those and give practical examples. So please feel free to write your questions in between if you want me to go over any other thing which I have gone through, or you want me to give more examples, or feel free to jump in if you have anything to contribute as well. Shoaib, I'm particularly looking for other volunteers to kind of jump in with their experiences as well. So, the first and the most important skill, a soft skill, is communication. So, as I was alluding to earlier, communication is about the four skills of listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So, for you to, in my entire professional career, this is the one thing everybody always asks for. I want to confidently speak. I want to be able to speak in public, and when I'm writing, I want to write coherent, and simple, and as well as cohesive emails and presentations. So my simple answer to everything, to be able to speak and to write, is practice. So those are your written skills, and your speaking skills are your outputs. So for that to develop, we have to develop our listening skills. So listening in the sense, not only going in, because thankfully in the past few years, everybody has access to internet, uh, thanks to Geo. So we have got access to daily quota of internet, which was not available earlier. So everybody has access to TED Talks. Everybody has access to podcast. And for the people who don't have access to internet, when we are listening, say for example, as far as I can remember, all the time, when listening, when you are listening to quality, say for example, your interest is in sports, so you like watching cricket. So instead of watching commentary in a Hindi channel, if you are listening to commentary in English, be it either on TV or internet or on radio, it doesn't matter. And same, for example, you are interested in current affairs, so instead of watching a Astak, you can watch, say, a Al Jazeera English or a BBC World, or a Bloomberg. What that will give you is, it will not only improve your listening skills, but also improve your general understanding of uh, the current affairs, and increase your vocabulary. Say same thing, you're watching, you are into IT domain or any other skill, and you want to improve your listening skills. So what I used to do is, simultaneously, when I used to have watching, instead of just watching them speak, I always used to have, I still have this habit of having the subtitles open. So simultaneously, when I'm reading it and listening to them, for example, a lot of things, when they are written and when we pronounce it, they sound a little bit different. But when you are actually listening to people pronouncing it, and when you're reading it, then you get an idea. Okay, this word, I will pronounce it in certain way. Say for example, you are asking about the word cohesion, or coercion, or presentation, or any other word you're speaking. When you're listening to others, say, I especially like, for the people who are watching TV, say for example, you're watching a Bloomberg or a BBC World or an Al Jazeera English, you have subtitles on, you develop that understanding of what is it being spoken. And especially, when you're listening, make it a habit. For a lot of people, we always talk about, we always want to speak, we always want to write, but everybody always says that, I don't have time to devote to watch anything. So what I personally used to do, and always do it, for example, you're sitting, you have come in from office, or you are doing your normal other stuff as well. For example, you're having your lunch, your dinner, or breakfast. So instead of having anything else, you want to develop that skill, so you are switching on the TV, and listening to it, and your skills are developing. And same applies to your reading. So anybody can read anything. For example, you're into sports, develop that habit of reading daily. Your general leading habit develops. And also nowadays, thankfully, we have got these all of these beautiful apps where you can read daily. So if we again, for example, you're using public transport. Say for example, you're going in a metro or a bus, or you're taking company cab to and fro from the office. You get that solid half an hour, 1 hour every day. Develop that habit of reading, or in the morning or in the evening as well. That way, your ability, your vocabulary improves, your general sentence formation, your general awareness of listening. All of these, with the listening and with the reading, your vocabulary and your confidence improves. Then only, when we have this habit, then people going forward will definitely feel that, when you're starting to speak, you automatically gets words in your mouth, okay, because you have listened to it, and then you have words, or the vocabulary, your grammar, and your sentence formation improves. So, can anybody kind of jump in here and share your experience as well? When you have started professionally working, and you see that once you have started listening and reading, and then it helps your ability to speak and to write as well. Please, anyone, Shoaib, want to share
Yes,
your
yes.
experience?
Aslam bhai, yeah. I request everyone, as Aslam bhai told, that please be interactive actually. Feel free to ask or share anything. No need to hesitate out of that. Like, so I would share my experience, like as Aslam bhai rightly said, that we need to get involved into communication. So as much as we involve, we listen to the some BBC World podcast or some influential speakers, as well as while writing emails. So that really helps out. So for me, like apart from my professional career, I joined Career Guidance Council, the NGO, and this has given me a lot of opportunities, even in fact to get involved, write emails, create some flyers. So in fact, that also really helps me out in building my communication skills. So joining this kind of NGO, which give you like a lot of work apart from your professional like thing, this is my experience actually. This is what I wanted to share.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Javed. I agree to the points that you have highlighted. And just to add, I request you all to read magazines, English newspapers, preferably Economic Times, Financial Times, The Hindu. So these people come with strong corporate vocabulary, and as compared to other newspapers. So prefer uh, going through these magazines, these papers, and also watch English news channels such as Sky, BBC, NDTV. And besides that, when you interact with others on social media, do not use your mother tongue or local languages. Prefer to use English language. This way, you will spend maximum time on learning new words in English language. And beside that, papers like Economic Times and business magazines that will help you understand, pick up the jargons that are used in the corporate world. Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jamil Ahmad Khan, and I have been into this organization from the past 2 years. And being into the organization has helped me to improve my communication skills as well as listening skills. One thing I would like to share with you all is, which has helped me a lot in improving my communication skills, is like mirror practicing and video recording. I mean, take any of the topic which you have liked and watch a video on it, and to try to intimate whatever the speaker is saying in front of a mirror, or else you can take your phone out and start your video recording and try to record all the things which you have spoken out, and review that video after recording. You will get to know what are the flaws you are making and what are the mistakes you are doing while communicating. This how you can improve your communication skills. This is the technique which I have used to improve my communication skills. I wanted to share to you as well, so that you can also improve the communication skills. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, hi.
Hello.
Yeah, my name is Kumil. I've been into a corporate from last 9 years. When I started my career, I didn't have the proper communication skills. I used to interact mostly in Hindi, but my managers motivated me. But still, I get taunted. My friends said that whenever I speak in English or give a presentation in a office, they taunt me a lot. So that demotivates me. Because whenever I speak in English or give a presentation, my friends taunt me saying that Angrez ke aulad hai kya, you can speak in Hindi, all those things. So I just want to get rid. Because of that, I'm facing a lot of problem now these days. While facing interviews, I am stammering a lot. So want to get rid of this thing also.
So, thank you, Kamil. I have a small tidbit to add. Firstly, this peer pressure. When we are speaking, say, for example, why don't you speak in Hindi or why don't you speak in Telugu? ఎవరురా నువ్వు ఇంగ్లీష్ వాళ్ళు కదా ఎందుకు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు సో trust me, when you want to learn a language, you have to practice. There will be people who will always be making fun, and as you progress in your career, you will see those people who were there, they will still be there after 5-10 years. The only thing they are good at is only making fun of people. And at times, you have to be a little bit thick skinned as well, because it is your own self motivation. For example, if I want to learn the language and if I want to speak, then no matter what anybody says, I'll keep practicing. I'll give you a couple of examples. Firstly, my Telugu is very bad, and a lot of my colleagues make a lot of fun of it. And I'm like, I know I sound funny, but I look at it at the other way. People tell me, ఎందుకు అసలు మాట్లాడతారు తెలుగులో? I said, like, I want to learn the language, I want to be fluent. So it doesn't matter if people smile at me, people that smile and people laugh, and it makes people laugh. It doesn't matter to me. I want to learn that language. And I'll give you other example. I There was a time I wanted to learn Spanish. So every day, half an hour, I used to watch TV5. There was a Spanish channel. So in Spanish, in when they are speaking in news, so I would know what that they are talking about in what is happening in the current affairs. But I want to listen to Spanish, so that way how they pronounce, how they say things, and that way when I started doing it for 1 or 2 years, then I was able to at least able to properly communicate. Then I thought of learning German. So same logic. You get a hang of things, you practice, and it doesn't matter. People will start making people will do whatever, but it is as long as we understand that it is important for me to communicate, then we will keep working on it. I would take this opportunity to kind of also simultaneously answer questions. So please feel free to write your questions in the chat box. So the first question came in and is like, how can we overcome the influence of mother tongue? Firstly, is it bad to have mother tongue? So trust me, initially, when 10, 15, 20 years back, when this call center culture came in, people used to be given American names. So instead of calling yourself Aslam, you have to call yourself Sam, and you have to speak in certain accent, and your mother tongue is a bad thing. But nowadays, it is not considered a bad thing. I don't know how many people have noticed. Even everybody knows the CEO of Alphabet or CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, or what is the name of this guy? Google CEO.
Sundar Pichai.
Sundar Pichai.
Sundar Pichai. So have you guys noticed they have this American accents, but at times they go into the Tamil and Telugu accent. It comes out. Has anybody noticed?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
sir.
right.
So and they are managing the top companies in the world. So having a mother tongue influence, is it a bad thing? No. So everybody comes from a different background. So I'll give you a personal example. I used to live in London. So there is a West London accent, there is a East London accent, and there is a South London accent. And in Britain, they are Scottish people, Irish people, and then they are Welsh people. So everybody comes in, everybody has their own thick accent. So, for example, I'm sure everybody watches cricket over here, and people, when you're listening to people who are from Birmingham or Manchester or Wales or Scotland, even though they are speaking English, or or it is too much. For example, Australians speak very different than the British, than Canadians and Americans. Everybody has their own accents. It doesn't matter, and it will go away. You'll come to neutral accent as you interact more with people from different backgrounds. So try listening to personally I prefer, because I like current affairs, so I like listening to Al Jazeera English or BBC on TV, or when I'm listening to podcast, be it on TED Talks every day, 10-20 minutes dedicatedly. um that when as I also said, right, apart from listening, have the subtitles on. That way, apart from listening, you're reading as well, so you get to pronounce and start pronouncing it yourself, repeating it. As somebody was over here was sharing that, listen to something and record yourself, or in front of mirror start speaking. That way, you will see the difference, how to pronounce and how it is coming in. And one core thing I always speak about, and a lot of people who have been listening to me, they will tell me that he always has these same dialogues. But very important thing, practice is the one thing which makes you perfect, right? I give this example for the people who are familiar with technology. I give the example of Bill Gates. Bill Gates was in Harvard University when he established Microsoft. So a lot of people call him genius, but when he was in school in fifth, sixth standard, he got familiar with computers. He started coding, and then it took him 8 to 10 years when he joined in Harvard. And then because he had the 10 years experience working in coding, he was able to establish Microsoft. He didn't get overnight dream. And a lot of people who I like to give this analogy of the cricketer Sachin Tendulkar. A lot of people are familiar with him, making his international debut at the age of 16. Little Master. A lot of people think call him many names, but a lot of people would be and for the people who have read his biography, would be familiar that he started playing cricket at the age of 4, and from the age of 6 to 16, his coach every day after school from 4 to 6, he used to take him to practice every day, and every Sunday matches. And then when he made that international debut at 16, he already had the 10 years experience, and then it shows. So why am I reiterating and why am I giving this example? Is communication, public speaking is, you don't get it overnight, and it requires a lot of practice. So start thinking about it, make it a habit. Every day I'm listening, every day I'm reading, and then only I'll be able to confidently speak, as well as when I'm reading, I'll be able to write. So this is a process. Okay. I hope that answers the question about mother tongue. So don't be firstly embarrassed about your mother tongue. Nobody else is. If That's the reason I gave the example of Satya Nadella and Sundar Pichai. So everybody has a mother tongue influence, but as long as we are confident, it works for us. Somebody else shared their experience. Zishan shared, 6 months ago, I started working as an intern where I was hesitant to speak and I was lacking ability to maintain flow while asking or answering anything. Then I have started non-fictional books, which helped me to maintain flow as well as develop confidence in my voice and also improved a lot of my domain related vocabulary. Very important, practice, especially when people are starting in, they are hesitant and they lack the confidence. But once you start reading, so it talked about non-fictional books. I always try to give the easy way out. If you're going out of your way to buy books or doing something good for you, but I believe every day everyone nowadays has a smartphone and has access to reading material online. So make a habit of reading whenever you have time, at least sometime a day, at least 10-15 minutes in the morning, afternoon, in the evening. And same involves to listening as well. uh, the question, how can we overcome the influence of mother tongue? As I said, mother tongue influence goes away with practice, and it is not a bad thing to have a mother tongue influence firstly. So firstly, always think in English. So ecosystem works, when you are listening to English, when you are reading English, obviously your vocabulary improves and your confidence and your fluency improves. So that is always there. So Jamil bhai, could you please share your contact number? I need some tips. Okay. Thank you. So, as does anybody have any other questions on how to improve communication, or would like to share anything else before we move on?
So, hello Islam bhai. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead. We can listen.
Yeah. So, good morning, sir. I'm Dharma. I'm also part of the CDC from last 2 years. So, when I joined here, I have a lot of fear to speak with the people. So, after attending so many sessions in CGC in weekends, so I got so much of confidence, so much of tips to overcome my improvement areas. So because of CGC only, I got a job in one of the MNC company. My current working company is Ryan. So sir, recently I attended one demo class, sir. I wanted to learn US accent. So I attended one demo. He charging around 12,500 rupees, sir. It's very huge amount. You know, for 20 classes. So I mean, if we have a phonetics list and intonation, how can we get accent? So if you can help me on this, it is very helpful to me, sir, because CDC is providing everything for free. Even if I want learn any language, also outside they are charging ample of amount. So how can I get some other country accent? Is there any way to get it? So if you can share with me, that is grateful, sir.
I think
Hello.
sorry. I would like to ask Dharma's question, and then I'll take another one. So two parts in it. Firstly, you went in to join a course to develop an accent. Firstly, as I was giving the example of accents, getting an accent used to be a thing. 5 to 10 years ago, we used to feel ourselves, especially Indians, that I have an accent. Maybe that if I lose that accent, that will help me grow in my career. But nowadays, with every other major company in the world uh, being led by Indians, that thing is going away. So don't have the thing that if I have American accent or British accent, that will help me grow in my career. So firstly, mentally remove that, please. But apart from that, how do I speak fluently? How do I get my grammar corrected? How do I improve my vocabulary? these are the things, they can, firstly, we have got other volunteers. I'm sure we are planning to have, we have got IELTS trainers as volunteers as well. I'm sure they are planning to have this regular session on improving English. So that is a separate matter. But generally as well, I believe, I happen to live in England, uh, got the opportunity to travel a lot in Europe and US, a lot of other countries as well, 20 plus countries. What I have noticed is with practice, with ecosystem, with environment, you get you lose your mother tongue influence and you get the what do I say, neutral accent. So try, instead of joining in a course, spending that much of money, make a habit of listening every day. Devote the time. For example, everything comes to time. I always talk about it. Every person has the same 24 hours in a day, and we are working 8 hours in a job, 8 hours sleeping. So 8 hours, we have to do our normal chores, eating, doing all the other stuff, but we still have at least 2 to 3 hours where we can devote to develop our skills which we want to improve on. For example, now I want to improve my communication skills, my speaking, my writing. So what I would do is every day I would devote time to listen. Say for example, I am in IT domain, so apart from listening videos on the particular domain, I will have the subtitles open so that I'm listening attentively and repeating it. That way, my accent is going away and my fluency is coming in. And same applies to reading as well. A lot of people have, shared their experience as well. Please develop a habit of reading. Um, on your app, on your phone, there is Google News, so you can go in Financial Times, New York Times, Guardian, Hindu. A lot of in a lot of papers, at least you have 10 minutes, 10 articles every month free. So develop that habit, reading every day. That will improve your communication. Okay. Anybody else, please? Oh, hope this answers your question.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I got this question: how can I get rid of voice stammering whilst talking? Um Firstly, again, around stammering, stammering used to be considered something of not good thing to have. But nowadays, if we read about a lot of successful leaders, they will tell you their stories about how they used to stammer initially as well. So firstly, stammering is not nowadays considered a bad thing. So to overcome it, again, practice. When we are speaking, as long as we are able to communicate, say for example, you are trying to speak a sentence and you are stammering in between, so confidently complete, recollect the word before and complete it. So it is a matter of confidence and not about getting hung up on not thinking negatively about your stammer. So that is the short answer I have. If people don't have any more questions on communication, I would like, yeah, if
Sir,
anybody has any more questions, yeah,
sir,
please.
one more thing I would like to share on stammering to Kumel bhai is like there is one technique called gibberish. Gibbresh. If you type on Google or YouTube, you will get to know some techniques. This technique will help you to overcome the stammering. Sometimes stammering happens due to biological aspects also. So to overcome that, this technique will help you out. So I just want to tell what gibberish is. Gibberish is the technique where you supposed to, you know, talk whatever you want to and record it so that you can get, confidence to talk. So with this technique, you can overcome stammering. Please go and search for it. You will get to know about it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So the other, my understanding is we have got lots of experienced professionals. So initially, when I used to attend sessions in CGC, we used to get lots of freshers. So so that's the reason when I was planning to have my more concentration on these 10 basic items for freshers. So I will quickly go through them, and then but I will dedicate the next 1 hour of my talk mostly and question and answer sessions for people who are professionals, so who have experience, so that what are the other soft skills required for your career advancement. Okay. So for the freshers, this is mostly for the freshers, so please don't get zoned out thinking that these are the things when I used to be talked about when I was a fresher. So why was being talked about these things, because we have got around 50 people, so I don't have any idea how many are freshers and how many are professionals, experienced professionals. So apart from the communication, one of the basic soft skills that every employer is looking for us to have is courtesy. Courtesy, manners, etiquette, business etiquette, gracious, saying please, thank you, and being respectful. I cannot reiterate the importance of saying please and thank you. There is I don't know, especially in us Indians, we always like to think about it this way. Why do I say please? If somebody is doing their job, should I have to tell them please do this job? Or, for example, why do I say thank you? For example, I'll share this very good experience I had. So I went in and I asked somebody a something, and they said, "Lo, let me think about it." Then they said, "I'm sorry, I don't know." So afterwards, I replied, "Thank you." So the person said, "Why did you say thank you to me?" Because I didn't answer your question. I was not able to help you out. So I told him, I'm thanking you because you took the time to at least answer me. Were you able to help me or not help me is a different matter, but you took out the time, right? So I thank you for it. Everybody understands that basic concept. Same way with basic graciousness, please. Everybody is supposed to do their own work, but people ask, like, why do I have to say please? you know uh, Say some, for example, um, can I have for example, a lot of times when we are dealing with a lot of our colleagues, a lot of our say we are going into a store or we are asking for anything, rarely we say, can I have this please? Can you do this thing for me please? Because we think, like, why do I say please? But trust me, a lot of these basic courtesies matter. So one of the important soft skill every employer is looking for is are these manners. Your etiquette, your business etiquette, your graciousness, your saying please, thank you, and being generally respectful. A very important soft skill to have. The other important soft skill, the third most important soft skill, is flexibility. Flexibility includes adaptability, willingness to change, lifelong learner, accept new thing, adjust, teachable. So especially for the join attendees over here who are freshers, so please understand, whatever education you have had, for example, you have done your BTech, your BCom, your MBA, you're joining in as a fresher. uh, One of the basic quality any employer is looking for is that, how flexible you are, how adaptable you are. Will you be able to so whenever I go and interview anyone, right, I try to look at people. Does this person fit in my team? Can I teach this person my process? uh, will this person be able to adjust to the environment of a corporate office? For example, are you a learner? So in this one, especially when you are updating your CV, or when you have, say for example, you are completed for say 4 to 5 years experience as well, when you're talking about it, apart from your regular work, do always mention, what is your other habit, your hobby, which you spend time to learn. For example, everybody has heard of Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple. So what that guy is, everybody has seen that fonts which we use, Aries, and the other fonts on Microsoft as well as Apple. So those were initially, so when Steve Jobs, he didn't complete his college, so he spent 2 years doing that fonts, learning calligraphy, and he himself designed those fonts in Mac, and that from Mac was copied into Microsoft, and now Google uses the same. So he spent 2 years learning that skill, and those kind of skills are always useful, and to your employers and to your prospective employers as well, when you are saying that, apart from my normal studies, I devoted some time, say for example, doing calligraphy, or I was part of this other extracurricular activity, that gives them that understanding that, you are willing to learn, you're willing to change, and you are a lifelong learner. So that is a very important skill to have, uh, that is flexibility. uh, the other important soft skill to have is integrity. Honesty, ethical, high morals, has personal values, does what is right. In our CV we always write about, hardworking, flexible. So people always, whenever people are speaking to you and whenever people have observed you, these are the skills they look for. For example, honesty. What does honesty means? When somebody says I'm honest, what does it practically mean? For example, you are being asked to do certain thing, and you are being honest about it, and you say that, I was not able to do it, and this is the reason I did not do it. A lot of freshers, when I interview, we know, right? We interview people all the time, and for people who are experienced as well, if people have this habit of copying CVs from somebody else, and people write some stuff, and you ask them, what do you mean by lean six sigma train? I know that a fresher doesn't have any idea, but they some people are honest and they tell you, I don't know. I just copied this from my friend's CV. Trust me, I really appreciate, and every other person appreciates that honesty, your transparency, and your ethical values. For example, you know what is right and what is wrong. These are the smaller things, but they do not always, when especially freshers going into interviews, do not think that you are expected to know a lot. The expectations are very basic from you. Are you do you have the basic communication skills? Do you have the basic courtesies? Are you flexible, and do you have the basic integrity? So this thing about honesty, being ethical, being of personal values matters a lot, and these are especially noticed initially by all your interviewers. Interpersonal skills, nice, personable, sense of humor, friendly, nurturing, empathetic, has self-control, patience, sociability, warmth, social skills. Uh, a lot of people can now afterwards go in and Google all of these aspects separately. You will get an idea about it. Uh, under Get this, why these interpersonal skills are required by employers, because this is especially true for freshers. Like, we had like 30-40 people in a classroom. In your workplace as well, there will be 10-20 people. You will be part of a team. So if you have these basic qualities, of being nice. What does being nice mean? A lot of people make mistakes. Your other team members, do you go on their face and say, oh, you don't know how to do even this? What do you know? Or you go to that person and says, do you know there is a other way of doing this? Or for example, somebody doesn't know a basic Excel function, or writing in Word or in email. You can be friendly to that person by being nice, personable, same thing. Sense of humor, friendly. Are you a friendly person? Are you nurturing? Are you empathetic? This is the most important aspect, not only for freshers, but also when you are growing in your career. In my office, apart from I take time to train people in their next level growth, and this is the one skill we always talk about, one interpersonal skill: empathy. Do you have empathy? What does empathy mean, and what is the difference between empathy and sympathy? So in Urdu or Hindi, sympathy or means taras. Everybody understands the concept of taras khana. For example, you have a beggar and you have sympathy on it, and you take out money and give it to that person, and that is called sympathy. So आप किसी के ऊपर तरस खा रहे, उसको sympathy बोलते हैं. What is empathy? Empathy means एहसास. Everybody understands the concept of एहसास. Uh, in the professional context, what empathy means is, for example, I'll give this very relatable example from a associate perspective to a manager. A lot of times, a lot of associates tell that no matter how much I do, my manager, my SME does not understand. If I deliver 99%, they always moan about that 1%. Or when you're interacting with the customer, you deliver 99% and you make that one small mistake, and you always complain that this customer is so thankless. They always are behind my small mistake, and they don't appreciate my hard work put in. So empathy over here is putting yourself in other person's shoes and understanding. For example, when your SME or your manager is telling you that this is your requirement and this is what you're missing, so what they want you to do is improve on and develop and master the your area of improvement. So that is empathy. And from a FLM or an SME point of view, uh, a lot of times during time of promotions and in the assessments we always judge, and nowadays there are a lot of HR tools which are now judging your empathy. For example, you are given in the judgment of your leadership skills, your customer service, your team management skills. One of the questions being asked is your level of empathy. For example, the question being asked is like, your one of your team member is uh, out of office for a personal reason. For example, the person is not well, or for that person had a death in family, but you have a very important deliverable. You have a deadline to meet. What would you do? So these are the sort of questions being asked. So the answer expected from you is not to get only the work delivered, but put yourself in that shoes and think, if I'm not feeling well, if I had gone through this personal tragedy, how would I feel? So putting yourself in other person's shoes and not only looking things from your perspective is empathy. Okay. I hope that works. Positive attitude, optimistic, enthusiastic, encouraging, happy, confident. This is one important thing a lot of employers look for. And also, especially if you're part of a team and at management discussions, whenever we are having those discussions and we always talk about it, we want to promote this guy, and we always the discussion comes is, that guy, he's always moaning about what has gone wrong with that person. He always tells me that 5 years have gone and I am always overlooked for my promotion. I am the SME, but I am never given the opportunity to be an FLM. I don't know why people are biased against me. So these are all negative words. So if you have a negative uh, attitude in a work environment, that creates negative impression of you in front of your team members, because nobody would want to talk to you, and you also avoid those people. If you are in front among negative people, they'll always talk about what is wrong with them, what is wrong with the company, what is wrong with the industry, and what is wrong with life in general. But you stay in positive people, they will tell you what is required for us to grow to the next level of career, and how to be positive, how to develop our skills, so that we encourage others. And this is what is called positive attitude. uh, Quickly, I want to quickly cover in 4 minutes the other 4 points. Professionalism, business-like, well-dressed, experienced, poised. I cannot stress enough the importance of dressing well to a office. A lot of offices now have got these casual business casual dresses. So it does not mean that we are going into those multicolor shirts, and now I am not supposed to be well groomed. Whenever you are in a professional setting, make sure that you're always well groomed. And the professional etiquette, even when you're wearing casual dresses, is your lower your pants are always of dark color, even if it's a jeans, and your t-shirts, your shirts are of light color. So your appearance, the way you talk, the way you dress, and the way you behave, the way you communicate with people, always has that creates that positive vibe, and that is always looked upon nicely in front of management as well as in team members. Responsibility, every employers preferred people who are accountable, reliable, gets the jobs done, resourceful, self-disciplined. For example, we are all, for example, you're in a software, you're developing any software, or you're working in any other uh, any other industry. We have to deliver, we have deadlines. So people who are delivery who have the ability to deliver are always counted on. So make sure that whenever you're writing in your CV, write the work write this thing that what you have learned. And if, say, if you have a little bit of experience, write about what you have delivered. For example, you have worked on certain project, you have worked on certain improvement, how you have delivered on time. This is one quality every employer appreciates. And always have backup, have that story, that to give that context, what were your plan, how did you plan it, and how did you achieve it, and what were you learning. So these are very important quality to have, important soft skill. Teamwork, I cannot stress the importance of teamwork. And because as I told you, for the freshers, we are going to work in teams. So your ability to work and work in a team. For example, everybody has played cricket, everybody understands, there is a batsman, a bowler, a keeper. So everybody, if you understand what your role is, what your contribution to the team is, and the expectation of every team member is not the same. So when you are working as part of the team, so what is your strength. For example, somebody is good at accuracy, but the people who are very good at delivering with accuracy, they are not that good at achieving their task. so there has to be other team member who is very good at achievement orientation, so they understand what where they fit in, and your ability to be part of that team, and that teamwork is really looked up upon by every employer. So in your CV, make sure that you have you have those examples of you being part of a team. So if you were not part of any debate team or any business presentation in your colleges and stuff, make sure to write that you were part of your cricket team or your volleyball team, or you need not be a captain, but you can say team player as well. So this team player, uh, your ability to work in a team is really looked upon by every employer. It shows how much cooperative you are, you get along with others, you agree with others, because you're not always right, you're supportive to others, and you're helpful and collaborative. This collaborative aspect is really important, because not the basic example, in our hands we have got these 5 fingers. Not all fingers are the same, right? But they together are part of a hand. So the same teamwork applies to everything we do in a team as well. So think about it, how you are, where do you fit in your team, and what are your strengths, and try to teach those strengths to others. So always, a lot of my personal experiences, I see that people, they are good at something, they say, I did my job, so I am good. So but when you try and go and above and beyond at teaching others what you are good at, is not only improves your skill you have, but also improves your team player abilities. The last but not the least, work ethic. Hardworking, willing to work, loyalty, initiative, self motivated, on time, good attendance. These are the things, ever since we were in school, we were always used to be told, right? Be on time to school, be provide that attendance, self motivation, be loyal, be hardworking. So these are the things, for the freshers. Make sure when you're writing it, g- provide an example, and practical examples are always there as well. For example, we have this training session. So do you join in that session beforehand, or do you join in 5 minutes late? It shows your work ethic. It shows how you follow the timeliness. Are you on time? Self motivation, initiative, willing to work, because everybody expects the delivery. So are you able to go above and beyond? So have those examples ready. So for example, if you're a fresher, I completed this project wherein I had to go and work in this other intern in other company, wherein I learned the importance of working hard, delivering timeliness, and taking the self initiative. When you talk about this thing, trust me, a lot of employers feel that you have what it takes to work in a working environment. And same applies to people with experience as well. So make sure that you are selling yourself when you were part of a project, and what were your contribution in it, to be part of it. So this is one session. This was basically for people who were mostly freshers and 1 to 2 years of experience. The next session I would devote for the people who have mostly a little bit more of experience. And before I go into the next one, can we have more feedback, questions, or anybody who would like to share their experiences on the importance of soft skills and the points I have gone through? Please, over to you.
Yeah, agree, Aslam Bhai, actually. And as we are into career guidance council, we have been seeing students, job seeker, they are mostly struggling into communication skill part only while getting a job. So this is extremely critical skills. I hope everyone understand that. And to acquire that also, we need to put efforts, time. And as Aslam Bhai is telling very rightly, we need to we need to get ourselves involved into this all this kind of skill, then only we will be able to hone our skills. And as the more we practice, the more better we will become actually. So this is very important, and I have seen actually like thousands of candidates, they are not unable to get a job just because they are unable to speak up during the interview. They have the knowledge, they have the required technical skill, but communication skill is like kind of taking them back. And it is not only about for the job seeker only, it is for the experienced professionals also who are into the IT world, having 5 year or 7 8 years of experience. They are unable to grow in the career just because of lack of communication skill. So let me tell you actually, like even if you work as a technical person, I'm a software engineer. Sometimes that position don't give you much exposure to communicate outside. You'll just do the work being asked to you, and you will just say that this is completed. So you will write simple English only, not much exposure as far as communication is concerned. So whether you are professional or job seeker, you need to expose yourself much outer to the communication one, then only it will help you to grow your skill up. So don't take it like for granted that you have got a job, so it will by default improve your communication. It won't going to happen like that. So just we need to take all these things seriously, and if you have any feedback for Aslam bhai, we can have this as a series of communication skill seminar webinar every week. And based on the feedback from the participant, this is just an introductory session, so he's just trying to cover the overall like perspective about what communication is skill about. So, and I would request everyone to just speak up. That really motivate the speaker, as well as this bring the enthusiasm in the session also. Okay. Yeah, I'm done, Aslam bhai. Other can like pitch in and share their points.
Thank you, Shobhai. I think please feel free. Your feedback, and as Shobhai always rightly pointed out, this is something I just wanted to have a high-level conceptual understanding. We can have detailed sessions. So, firstly, I would like to divide those sessions going forward for freshers and for experienced people, because the sort of soft skills require for freshers are a little bit different and basic in nature, and compared to the sort of soft skills and communications skills required for the experienced participants. So we will share out those details in the upcoming sessions, because initially when we used to do sessions at CGC, it used to be we used to have participants who had to travel there every week. It used to, I believe, a little bit of challenge, but now thankfully this pandemic has provided a challenge, but also an opportunity, right? Everybody is sitting at home, but we can we have time on our hand, and especially on weekends we are away from our regular work as well, so that we can concentrate on our career growth, because we are deliverables, we are doing it Monday to Friday, but weekends are our time. We need to think what are the skills required for me to grow in my career. Okay, I would give out the floor again, but I have one question. I would like to answer that question, then I'll give the floor to other people as well to speak. And feel free to uh, write your questions if you are feeling that you don't want to speak in public. So there is one question from Adil Ahmed. Could you tell how Toastmasters can be helpful to us, and how can we be part of it? So two aspects to it. Toastmasters, to give a context, everybody, for the people who haven't heard about Toastmasters, I would highly encourage them to Google Toastmasters. And Toastmasters is a NGO, and they have a designed course of 10 sessions, and this is one of the most highly sought after and recognizable personality development course, or what do I say, personality development self-help group, recognized globally. So please, for the people who haven't heard about Toastmasters, you can Google Toastmasters. So how Toastmasters can be helpful. It will be helpful because initially, Toastmasters, for the beginners, they are 10 sessions. So the first one will be about, you have to speak a minute, and then going forward they will be giving you they are parameters in Toastmasters, your R counter, your fluency, your timeliness, and your ability to publicly speak. So Toastmasters is basically about enhancing your public speaking. Personally, I find it very useful, and globally as well, it is recognized. And once you complete the 10 sessions, and in your CV as well, you can proudly write that you have completed your Toastmaster certification. So I highly encourage everyone to Google about it, and it is helpful. And how can we be part of it? So there are two aspects. For the people who are already working in MNCs, a lot of MNCs have their own Toastmaster clubs. So Toastmasters is not something paid. Say for example, if you're working in Infosys, TCS, or anything, you can internally find out there will be a Toastmasters club in your office. So, and there are a lot of Toastmasters clubs for professionals. Say for example, you're in High Tech City or in Gachibowli or in your Ghatkesa Infosys. Every other for professionals, they are Toastmasters. And then there are Toastmasters club for non-professionals. For example, you are a student, either you are in school or in college, or you are in other non-MNC environment, you want to be part of a Toastmasters. They are, I think, 10 to 20 Toastmasters clubs, which allow outsiders to come in. So the one I used to go to the Toastmasters club was in Banjara Hills. So the Alliance France, the French Institute. People are familiar with the Mukramja Institute Engineering College. Outside, opposite that lane, people can Google Toastmasters Banjara Hill. They have their sessions from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So I highly encourage people, for the people who want to get a understanding of what Toastmasters is, you can just join in. Be there before 10 a.m. You can attend the session as a guest. So Google about it. Go and attend those sessions. Really helpful for your personal, professional, and your career growth. Okay. So to whom should I speak if I live alone? Very good question. A lot of people who have people to speak to as well, people are little bit embarrassed, or do I say we are hesitant to speak to others. The good part is nowadays everybody has a smartphone, right? For the people who have joined this session, we have got 50 plus attendees, right? A lot. I'm assuming 90% of you have joined through your smartphone. So your smartphone has the ability to do video recording, right? So you can do two ways. For example, you are listening to something and you're reading. You can do it in front of a mirror. You can see it yourself how you are, how you appear. I have this test. I say that if you are looking in the mirror and you are liking yourself, then if you're speaking publicly, I hopefully the other people will like you as well. The other way is, if you want to, you can record it yourself in a phone, and then play it back and see how you sound. Trust me, initially a lot of people find this thing that you will be seeing that people have this where we break in when we are speaking, and we get stuck. Everybody, it happens to everyone. But with practice, as we said, right, public speaking, there is a study done that how long does it take for you to be proficient in public speaking. So apparently, for you to be expert level public speaker, it takes around 10 years. 10 years is a long time, right? But trust me, we have been speaking since school, right? So it is a practice makes you perfect. So hopefully this answers your question. Who do you speak when you're leaving alone? It's a paid NGO. You will have to pay 10K for the sessions. They will allow you to speak publicly for it. So for Toastmasters, I am assuming we are talking about. So Toastmasters as a guest, say for example, the one in Banjara Hill, as a guest, if you are going in, they take 50 rupees for you to attend as a guest. So entering and passing on that course, I don't think that is that expensive. 10K for the sessions, I don't think that is that much. It depends on where you're going in as well, but I would highly encourage everyone to please at least attend as a guest. And there are various options where you want to go in. So any other
Yeah,
questions?
Aslam bhai, I also would like to raise a few points here related to Toastmaster. Even I was also a member of Toastmaster in my previous organization, Bank of America. So it is not that much costly. Like you need not pay 10K. Like they charge for 6 month membership, and it comes around some 3,000, 3,500 around that. And in fact, for corporate, some of the corporate they give it for free. Like for my corporate, they were giving some 50%, like based on the attendance. And Toastmaster, it is not only about the speaking. Like you as a member, you will be driving that communication presentation seminars in your club or in your corporates. Okay, so you will be evaluating the speed of others also. There is a grammarian roles or some different kinds of roles are there. They used to conduct meeting for 1.5 hour kind of thing actually. And as Aslam Bhai pointed out, there are various speech titles, and each speech needs to have some objective which you need to comply with. So, so this is a very good forum wherein we can leverage that, and we get an opportunity, and also we get an opportunity to give the feedback to others. So just let me tell you, actually, there is a Toastmaster.org website is there that you can go to, and for each state, city, you can search out what are the clubs available. So you can go to the nearby clubs. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharma. Anyone has any other questions before we move on to mostly talk about the soft skills required for working professionals who have experience? Any questions? Any feedback? Anything?
Aslam bhai, we also looking for like you give us some tips about how we should improve communication skill. What we should do, like yeah, you gave a lot of tips, but if I want to improve my communication English, so what process should I follow regularly, and how you will help
Good.
me out?
Good question. As I told you, right, there are two aspects to it. There is the technical aspect. Say, for example, people talk about your grammar, your sentence formation, how you doing the technical aspect to it. For me, the most important is the non-technical aspect. For example, as I was speaking, as I was telling before, right, there are four aspects. Everybody wants to speak fluently and write cohesive emails or letters or paragraphs. For that to happen, okay, importance of it. Before I go into it, I'm sure a lot of people wanting to do further education. You have got IELTS for say Canada, US, Australia. You have to clear your IELTS, get minimum say 6 or 7 bands in your listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But apart from that, for the people who are professionals and who want to migrate, we have got they are everybody is familiar with the requirement of say Canada or Australia. They want you to have band 7 or band 8, depending on the technical skills you have. And I just want to make everybody aware that even for UK, starting next year, they have announced that they are going to do the same points based system. And hopefully in US as well, it is now announced. Earlier it was not there, so people only used to go to through H1 visa to US. Now they are bringing in this, apart from your domain, your English language consideration will be coming into play going forward in US as well. So it is critical that we develop not only for our further education, for our career growth, for immigration, for the people who are interested in. Okay, this is the importance. So for the out of the four communication skills, for us to be speak, speaking comes in, or writing. You firstly, as I tell about it, those are your output skills. For that to happen, you have to develop your input skills. For example, you have to develop a habit, every day you're listening and you're reading. So how do you combine it? For example, for the people who are now, because all of us are nowadays confined to our homes. Say for example, every day we are taking out time, for example, for the people who are too tired to go through the TED talks or through training materials. You're watching Amazon Prime or Netflix or anything you're doing. Say for example, you're watching an English series. Make sure that your subtitles are on. And apart from when you're listening, you're watching as well. So for example, I on Amazon Prime, there are 2 to 3 series which I love watching. There is one Mentalist, there is another one, Criminal Minds, and there is the third one, I forgot. So what I do is, what I noticed is, uh, they give me those idea about people's thought process. How do criminals think? How do these people, the crime solvers, their mind works. But also the wording they use, the words they use in everyday language. So the nuances they have, the way they pronounce. So when I'm watching it, I read it as well. That improves my that improves my vocabulary, increases my vocabulary, and that improves my pronunciation, develops my pronunciation, and also improves my fluency. So these things, they are not these are not kind of I'm not going in paying anything specifically separately to an institute or anything. Sitting at home, making a habit, listening attentively, but also reading as well. That way, same applies to your say for example, you are into finance and accounting. You're listening to those Bloomberg or Al Jazeera English or BBC World. You're getting that language. You're listening to business languages. For example, you are into IT domain, you are listening to those courses and having the subtitles on. That way, once you are regularly having that habit and then repeating after it, so once you have listened something, you hit a pause button and repeat. That way, your fluency comes in. And one of the things I found very useful is, apart from your daily practice in your office. For example, somebody was talking about it as well. Say for example, we are in a domain expertise. For example, my job is to write code in office, or I'm in accounting background, I don't have much interaction with the customer. What I can do is, as a habit, I can speak in English. A few of our team members will say endukura enduku maatladutunnaru English lo, but it doesn't matter. We have to develop our language, so we make it a habit. So when we speak every day, and these forums, I love the fact that CGC helps you over weekend. You are among peers, right? So for example, you have got 2 to 4 years experience. We look for volunteers who are not only having 10 years of experience. You as a 2 years experienced person or a 5 years experienced person can also come in and guide freshers. So when you are telling them, what is it required for you to crack an interview, when you are teaching them, you learn. And that is something, those freshers are not going to judge you. Because one of the biggest concern we have is, when we are speaking, we get worried. Oh my god, the person listening to me is going to judge me. How are they going to feel? So that with practice things go. And it applies the same to your reading as well. For example, New York Times, right? Or Guardian paper, or Financial Times, or Economic Times in India. You're reading Hindu, a lot of people read. I'm sure everybody is aware that to crack your civil services exam, it is mandatory for you to read Hindu paper, right? Everybody is familiar with it, right? So develop that habit of reading every day. If you don't want to spend that money or want to get a physical paper, read on your phone. I read, everybody has read about Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla. Yes, people can write in chat. That way, I will know that the 50 people are just listening as well.
Yes, yes, we know him.
Yeah. So I was listening to this guy, and he was telling. So he lives in LA, and he goes to office every day on his chartered plane. So he says that I don't get time. So every day, that 1 hour I fly to office, I read on my iPhone. And this interview was done when there was iPhone 4. Everybody remembers that iPhone 4, how small the screens, even 2 3 years back, the phone screens used to be so small. Nowadays they are a little bit bigger, right? So it is about your own self motivation, it is about you finding time and reading, and whatever inspires you. Sorry, somebody was speaking, please go ahead. I'm sorry, I thought somebody else was speaking. So important that we develop a habit of reading. That's the reason I said it need not be. For example, you are in software, you're writing code. So I don't want you to go in and read only your subject. For example, you love reading about cricket, so go in and read about cricket every day. Say for example, you love reading about, say, celebrities or anything, but go in and read in English. Same applies to current affairs. For example, personally, I like keeping up to date about current affairs or the world of finance. So I like watching the Bloomberg International channel, or CNBC, or I like watching Al Jazeera English. They've got anchors from global channels, and when they're speaking in different accents, I get it. Same way when I'm reading, I read the Guardian paper. So Guardian is a British Guardian, not the Indian Guardian. uh, they are a broadsheet. So every day when I'm reading, like say 15 minutes, it improves my vocabulary, my grammar, and a lot of things. So we are, again, I would like to reiterate, we are creatures of habit. So once we start implementing it, listening and reading, that develops our communication skills. So anybody, anything else, any questions, any feedback?
Aslam bhai, I just want to add one more thing to your thought is like there is one book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book will also help you to improve your communication skills. It is one of the wonderful books we have on communication. I recommend all of the attendees to read that book and follow all the techniques which are written in that book so that you can improve the communication skills. That's it, bhai.
Thank you. And to add to it, if you don't want to go and buy that book, now you can Google the same thing: how to win friends and influence people. So Dale Carnegie, right? So that it is now available on Wikipedia. It gives you very basic steps on how to improve your communication skills. So
Yeah, yes, bhai. You will get a PDF also from Google. You can
and
download it.
you can download it, you can do it. So initially, once you don't want to invest the money, go and buy book, or uh, g- download it on your Kindle, or spend money, read it on Wikipedia. So that's the reason initially, as well, the reason I opened Wikipedia to walk you through the soft skills is we need to get an understanding. If it is easily accessible, it encourages more people to kind of go and spend time to it. And that was the reason as well, I was suggesting the ways and means to listen and to read every day, which is accessible for free. Okay. If that is it, I would quickly like to touch upon the soft skills and the emotional intelligence skills, I would like to call it, required for professionals with experience. So see, once I'll give you my experience. A lot of please let me know how many of you can relate to it as well. uh, Even in CGC as well, in my company and every way in my professional experience, we hear this a lot. A lot of people keep telling that I have 5 years of experience, or I have got now 10 years of experience. I am the SME in my process, and even my manager, my senior manager, assistant vice president, everybody comes to me to resolve a question. However, I feel that I am not given the opportunity to grow in my career. Meaning, I only have the designation of a SME or a senior analyst, uh, but I'm not getting promoted to being a manager. So, how many of you can relate to this from your personal experience, where you feel that you are a SME for very long, and once you feel that you are not going into the next level, and you're always given the feedback that you have to work on certain aspects to be a FLM or a manager. Can anybody share their experience, please, or the experience you have heard from others?
This is very common thing, Aslam bhai. This happens to, I think, everyone. Every person, no matter wherever he is, he will always kind of think that, okay, I'm not getting this or that, I'm not getting promoted, or he will have some kind of thing. And this is being, I've seen this happen a lot, especially for 5+ years of experience of people, because not everyone get an opportunity to become a lead, because only few people can become a lead. So in order to get that position also, certain like not everyone has that kind of a skill set. So this is a very common phenomena. I would just like to add that.
Absolutely. And would everybody agree as well that in every organization you have got those scheduled assessments for promotions?
Yes, in my organization, it used to happen 6 month, every 6 month.
And the same in my organization as well. And I would like to hear from others as well. Apart from me and Shoaib bhai as well, do other people feel the same thing as well? That when other promotions are coming in, we are only limited ourselves to being SME and not getting promoted to manager or a FLM, first level manager.
Aslam bhai, now the challenge here is we are not even getting promoted from associate level to the next level, because due to the competition is very high, and we have been waiting into so much time to get into another. So if we stuck into such positions, what are the best practices we have to do? Could you please suggest us so that we can apply it in our professional life and grow?
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, this was a question I was kind of, looking forward to, and initially trying to kind of relate. So, in every organization, right, you have got those. Firstly, is the, IQ part, your domain part. You are working, so you have completed 4 years, 5 years. Obviously, you are good. You are an SME and you have been performing, you're delivering, right? So, what is now required for us to go to the next level? So to my understanding, there are four aspects to it. So to for you to develop from a SME to a people leader to a managerial role, there are four aspects, and in every assessment there are four criterias which everybody, which management is looking for. For example, my organization, for the past few years, we are utilizing this HR company called Jombe. I'll write it down over here as well. You guys, everybody can go in and Google it as well. So they are HR and leadership development organization. So this is an outside organization which helps organizations develop and assess their talent. So all the associates for the next level promotion, they are supposed to attend their assessments to go to the next level. So what are the various assessments they are doing? So you are supposed to write a case study. So they are giving you some business case study, you're supposed to write it. They are going some we call it e-tray in basket analysis. So if you google in tray or in basket in google, you'll get you are getting emails on a live basis. How do you respond to those emails? And then you're supposed to do two open-ended video interviews. So they you are given for example, you are given a set of open-ended questions. For example, you are being asked, they tell us about a situation in your previous experience where you faced a challenge and how did you overcome it, and you're given 5 minutes to answer to it. So in that one, in all of these questions, and then there is the situational judgment part of it. So where you're given different scenarios and you are supposed to answer in multiple choice question, how do you answer those questions? So these different criterias, when you're being answered, what is management trying to assess is your four skills. So firstly is your leadership skill, your customer handling skill, your people management skill, and your task orientation. For example, what does it mean task orientation? So in your video question, or in your situational judgment, or in your email in basket a-tray questions, or in your case study, they are looking at it. They have given you a question, are you able to achieve it? Are you able to divide it? Are you able to put it in a context? Are you availing different scenarios, and then you are making a rational decision? And they are looking at your team management skill. For example, you what are team management skills? Your ability to delegate. Because for as a team lead, you are expected, you're not no longer an SME, right? There are certain aspects that you are supposed to delegate. So in your questions you will be asked that you have this question, this task, what would you do? So you they in your write up they will, or you have to give examples. I have trained this person, I will delegate this activity to this person and give a due date so that they are completing it in this given time. So your team handling skills has a few aspects to it. I can talk about it in our further sessions as well. Your leadership skills, leadership,
Sorry, Mr. V, are you
yes, sure.
sharing something actually?
I will, I just want to give a high level overview
Okay,
this time, Shoaib bhai. I'll have a detailed session depending on people's feedback. So I want to have,
okay, okay.
for example, I have got 50 people over here. I don't want to talk about, so that one I'll have a separate session for, for the people who are looking for next level growth. So what are the skills required for, and the assessment and the criteria, and how do we work on it? Because we have got like so 20 minutes, I want to like quickly go at high level in the next 5 minutes, and I'll open it for questions and feedback. So that way I'll
Okay.
prepare my deck, and we'll have separate hopefully sessions for freshers and for experienced professionals. So I just, that's the reason I just wanted to give a heads up. Sorry, I don't
Fine,
have the
fine.
deck prepared. Yeah, so leadership skills we talked about, customer handling skills. When we talked about understanding things from a customer perspective, how good you are in, how flexible you are, how adaptable you are, how would you go above and beyond to deliver to a customer request or to wow the customer. And one of the other things, your leadership skills, your team management skills, your customer handling skills, and your task orientation. So basically in every every organization, when they are looking at the next level growth, this is the one aspect everybody looks at, and the management devises the questions to assess you on these skills. So please let me know. We have got these 20 minutes. I would like to open this to take feedback from people. What is it, what are the kind of skills, what are the kind of sessions we want to have in the future, and which domain we would like to discuss more. And ideally, share your experiences. This is what happens in the organizations, and how do we go about improving our specific skills. So that way, I would like to spend the rest of the time of this session on basically feedback and question and answers, please. If people are not comfortable speaking, you can also write it in the chat box.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalam.
Mahaling sir.
How can we avoid mother tongue influence in English to be more attractive, even if it is grammatically correct and sentence formation is correct, but in pronunciation and due to mother tongue influence, the communication would not be more effective. Could you please give some tips to avoid the mother tongue influence in English? Thanks.
See, I can give you my personal experience. So I'll share to I would love to share a small tidbit as well. So initially, when I went to England, London, so I used to have a lot of friends who are English, who are born and brought up there. So they used to laugh literally on my face. Why do Indians say ah ra ra ra? So say for example, when you are saying how are you, we used to, stretch on the word are, right? How are you? And when Britishers are speaking, they say how are you. So they are very light on that are. So what I used to feel is I used to feel the same. I was like, why are these people laughing? How do I improve? And but over the years, what I found is what I used to do is the same thing. When listening to, so for example, initially was shared by somebody else as well. I think Jamil bhai shared it. What Sky News, or there are a lot of channels available on Tata Sky or on Al Jazeera English is one of my favorites, or BBC World. Or nowadays, a lot of people are watching on smartphone. You're watching on Amazon Prime or Netflix or anything. Just listen to them, and when and open the subtitles, and you will find a word when they are pronouncing it, it is a little bit different, and when we are pronouncing it, it is different. So how do you change it? So you put a pause to it and pronounce it, and when you practice it, say for example, you have learned a dialogue, you have seen somebody speaking something, try a, put a pause to it and repeat it, and that way it will be kind of fun, and you'll be able to improve it, and it goes with time, and it doesn't go off just like that. Trust me, it takes some time to get rid of the mother tongue influence. And I would again like to reiterate, having that mother tongue influence is not a bad thing, and that is the reason I gave you that example of Satya Nadella and Sundar Pichai. uh,
Don't go, come here.
so we got this question, how we can overcome with
अनिया पहले खाना खा
hesitation
के
while.
जाओ बेटा, बेबी को देखने मम्मा है. अनिया
We request
बेबी को देख
everyone,
के आ जाते
please
थे आप,
be on mute.
देख के आ जाते. जाओ देख के आओ, जाओ सिर्फ देख के आ जाना जल्दी.
So can everybody else be on mute? Only unmute yourself when you're speaking, please. So there's this another question: how can we overcome hesitation while speaking? So the simple answer is practice, 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 and practice. What happens is, there are two reasons. Why do we get stuck while speaking? Firstly, what I talk about is the vocabulary. When you're starting to speak, so firstly, a lot of when we were taught English, we always used to be told about this thing. Because we think in our mother tongue, and we try speaking in English, or that stops us from thinking it faster. So to avoid doing it, once we develop our ecosystem of reading as well as listening a lot, then you'll yourself feel that you have vocabulary improved. That way, you don't get hesitated. You don't hesitate, because why do you get stuck? Because you don't have the words. You are looking and you're searching for the appropriate word to speak. That is the reason you hesitate to speak. And at times as well, there are those we call it, ahs and ums, right? That come in, they go away once you start speaking regularly. So one of the techniques is to avoid, those are called fillers. So when you're doing instead of doing uh, the recommended solution is to breathe. So whenever you are short of word and you are now getting stuck, so please take a deep breath. That way, you will uh, you'll remember the word you're trying to speak as well, and then that hesitation goes. The simple answer is, with practice, your hesitation goes. Hopefully this works. Trust me, it is boring that when everybody says that practice, 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 but trust me, there's no other way. uh, Anybody, anything else, please?
I just want to, Aslam bhai, I just want to add one more thing on practice. Like for each and everything, you need to practice. Practice. There is one quotation of Bruce Lee. He says that I'm not scared of a person who practices 10,000 kicks once, but I'm scared of a person who practice one kicks 10,000 times. So the more you practice, the more you will get fluent in it, and you will only get to know how you will become such a fluent person you can't even imagine because of practicing. That's it. That's it, guys.
uh, Thank you, Jamil bhai. I think this is very important. What it is a lot of time it happens as well. We ask people, every day, are you devoting? We ask everyone, and the request is devote every day half an hour or 10 minutes. If you don't even have half an hour, but at least devote 10 minutes to listening or reading. And what everybody says is, no, I have time on weekend, I'll spend the entire day or 4 hours, or I will take 1 month off, or I'll go to this institute on weekend and I'll pay 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. That way, I'll develop my communication, my oral speaking, my overall communication. Trust me, it doesn't work. And the example given of Bruce Lee was the same. you know uh, One, if you think that you're going to learn kicking by kicking 10,000 times at a go, you're not going to learn it. But if you're doing it 10,000 times every day, then it improves. Then you master the skill. And initially as well, right, when I was giving you the example of Sachin, because a lot of people in our country relate and have played cricket a lot of time, right? So understand this. There is no genius. There is no artist. There is no art of playing cricket. You master the science, and then you're called a artist. That's the reason I gave that example. I think a lot of people have joined in later on, so I'd like to reiterate. Sachin Tendulkar, he made his debut at the age of 16 internationally, but he started playing cricket at the age of 4. From the age of 6 to 16, every day, apparently his coach after school, he used to pick him up, make him sit on his scooter, and take him for practice 4 to 6 every hour, every day, 2 hours, and on weekends a match, a tournament. And that training was done for 10 years. That made him an expert, and it applies the same to communication as well. So, for everyone who wants to improve their communication, please dedicate time regularly, and don't think that if I go to a institute and if I pay some money, something, you are automatically going to get something. What people, those institutes can do mostly is refine or enhance the skills you already have, but nobody can improve your vocabulary or your communication overnight. uh, One question somebody asked in, you're a tax preparer and would like to uh, move to finance. uh, you got to have an answer saying that, oh my god, my battery is running out. Your answer would be that you show your skills and you want to enhance and broaden your horizon, and you want to grow in your career, and that's the reason you want to move to your account finance. You can connect it with your prior education and say that I come from accounting and finance background, I have done my bachelor masters in it. I see myself in future in a career in finance. So you have to be specific if somebody asks you questions, so be prepared for those follow-up questions as well. And for the gap as well, multiple things you can talk about gap. Obviously you would not be sitting at home, right? So what I say, for the people who don't have any experience, tell that you are helping your family business. I would again like to come back to the topic of the day. uh, uh, Anybody, any other questions on what we would like to discuss in the future as well? What are the sessions you would like us to conduct? What is there any specific skill that you want to be part of? Because ideally I would like the soft skills for professionals. That is one thing I believe a lot of people get stuck. So please feel free to provide your inputs as well.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello.
Walaikum salam rahmatullah.
How much does it count for being with the right people at the right time?
There is this very good question. A lot of people, how do you know what is right and what is wrong? I consider this as a philosophical question. uh, what is right and what is wrong? We are, say for example, in your career, you're working on a certain aspect of your personal improvement. You are, as we discussed earlier in the session, right? We were talking about being with people who are positive oriented, dedicating certain time every day to equip yourself. So that is, for example, now being part of CGC, right? You're coming in, being part of sessions, and dedicating your certain part of time every day so that you're improving. So that is what I consider, being with the right people at the right time. There's never a wrong time. So if any time, whatever time you have done, as long as you have dedicated every day of your time, I think that is the right time. And utilize your time to be enhancing skills. I see a lot of WhatsApp statuses nowadays, right? If you do not come out of this pandemic with a new skill and enhancing your one area of improvement which you are looking for, now is the time, because now you cannot complain that you did not have time. So hope this answer helps.
Thank you.
So we had Siddiqui from Ireland. Uh, do you have this recorded session, and will you be sharing it? So the answer is yes. So in all the CGC groups, this is being shared later on, the recorded session, and I think it's being uploaded in on YouTube as well. And whatever sessions going forward as well, we have the PPTs. We will be sharing it in all the social media platforms. Anybody else? Any other questions, please?
Hi Aslam. Hi Aslam. I have a question. Hello. Hi Aslam.
Yeah, please go ahead. We can listen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The network connection is bad. So the thing is, I have a little bit of stammering problem. I just want to overcome it. I've worked in Dell computers for a couple of months. They have told me to stand in front of the mirror and speak to yourself. But sometimes I get stuck. Though I have corporate experience, but I get stuck while speaking. So how do I overcome it?
I think earlier this question was asked before as well. There are various techniques, and Jamil Bhai has shared his technique as well. There is on internet, you can Google it, gibberish. Jamil Bhai, please feel free to add. There are various techniques as well. Now we can Google and to follow those techniques
Mhm.
to overcome stammering. And uh, a- and again, stammering is something like your mother tongue influence, according to me. It doesn't go away, but it is not an impediment to work or your career growth, or it doesn't stop you from working. And it is not that big a impediment.
Okay.
And with practice, the stammer reduces. It is not like something, it's like your mother tongue influence, right? It doesn't go away. So it will be there, but we
Yeah.
do our best to reduce it.
Riyaz bhai, I just
So
want to
I'm
add
sorry.
on this. Earlier also, there is one technique on Google. If you type it gibberish technique to overcome stammering, just search on Google, you will get to know the techniques of it. Just try to follow all the steps
Yeah.
and do it consistently. Inshallah, ta'ala, you will overcome the stammering problem. Okay. Sometimes it happens
Sure.
biologically, sometimes it
Can you just
happens
spell that, please?
due to. I have written in chat box. Again, I'm writing it. Okay, for you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'll just have a look at it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
So we've
Thank
got
you, sir. Good, Aslam.
thank you. You're welcome. We've got 2-3 minutes to go. So just wanted everybody to know. So we will have dedicated, going forward, because this was just an overview session. We would have separate sessions for freshers, as communicated earlier. The soft skills, the communication, for example, freshers have a different set of challenges, because you're going to have the just a minute round, the group discussions, and how to go through the HR rounds. So we will have those separate sessions for freshers, and then we will also have separate sessions for people who have experience. So what is required for us to go to the next level? Say, for example, you are an SME and then you want to be into managerial role. So what are the assessments, and how do we improve the skills required? For example, we discussed earlier leadership skills, customer handling skills, task orientation, and also team management. So what are the questions, and how do we answer the questions in practice? Uh, Somebody has asked my phone number, so I am typing it as well. So please feel free to WhatsApp. So I rarely pick up my phone. WhatsApp is the best way to reach out. One of the other questions asked is how fillers can affect our speech and how to get rid of it. Fillers, as I told you, right? Everybody has fillers. For example, I'm sure when I am speaking, people can notice that I am searching for words. So everybody has it. How you can reduce them is so. Vahid bhai, I think, are we done with the time, or
Yes, Aslam bhai, we are done with
Yes,
the time.
yes. We are done
All
with
right.
the time.
So hopefully, this overall high-level session was useful, and that this will motivate others to join in the later on sessions, which will be more specific to specific people in their different career stages. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Islam.